All right, here we go. Welcome everyone to Shiftology Live. I'm your host, Terry Wildemann, founder of Shiftology and Intuitive Leadership. This show is where high achieving leaders come to share real stories behind their most powerful shifts, the pivots, the wake up calls, the breakthroughs that changed everything. Each episode, we explore what it means to lead with soul, to grow your business and your life with passion, and to reconnect with your inner truth, your inner heart, in order to be able to expand. Today's guest is someone whose story aligns with this message. And I'd like to introduce you to Randy Phares. He's Randy is engaged, was engaged, or is engaged by. Are you still engaged by the US and Afghan governments?
No, we finished that project slightly before the Taliban took over.
Okay, so I'm going to rephrase that. Randy was engaged by the US and Afghan governments to help launch four new industries in Afghanistan. How cool is that? That is really pretty amazing. He's the winner of the Best Achievement Organizational Business Improvement and Manufacturing Award from Global Six Sigma and Business Improvement Awards. He led a world-leading turnaround of a multinational business unit for a Fortune 1000 corporation on the Forbes Most Admired Companies list. He's an expert witness in legal cases, speaker, author, consultant, and executive coach featured in many publications. Welcome to Shiftology Live, Randy. You there? No,
Yep, I'm here. Something froze for a second. Sorry.
that's
Um,
okay.
Terry, I started at the very bottom.
Yeah.
I was actually literally digging ditches with a pick and shovel for $4 an hour. I
Oh,
have
wow.
Tourette's. I have Tourette's syndrome, so if you see my shoulder and face twitching, that's what that is. ADHD, and never earned a college degree.
Okay, that last part we froze. You
People.
never earned a culinary degree?
Oh, I never earned a college degree.
College degree?
Yeah.
College?
So it makes things a little more challenging for me than for some other people in trying to climb a corporate ladder where you have to have a degree for every job.
Sure.
But in any case, I started out at 21 as a general laborer in a manufacturing plant.
Okay.
And I had had a previous interview where I really blew it and couldn't answer basic information about my background that was on my resume and things like that. Clearly I didn't get that job, but it kind of lit a fire in me, and I really wanted to learn what separates successful candidates from those who failed. So I studied the psychology, communication, sales, storytelling, anything that could give me an edge. So I developed what I now call my fearless achiever method.
Love
And I have
it.
a book coming out towards the end of this year called The Ultimate Interview Guide: How to Out Interview Everyone Else and Get the Career of Your Dreams. And the foreword's written by Frank King, who is the world record holder for the most TED Talks. But my transformation after learning these things was pretty extraordinary. I was at the end of one interview, an executive vice president called me into the office and said, "We don't want you to leave our building before agreeing to work with us. What will it take to get you to agree to work for us right now and to agree to not take a counteroffer?" So I essentially wrote my own package, which resulted in a 60% pay increase for me. And they were excited to have me for that salary. And then, that's when I realized I
I gotta
not only
ask,
had,
did you ask enough?
I did.
Good.
For it was pretty good. It was a good next step, and then I made another dramatic step the next time. But I realized that I had not only learned how to interview everyone else, but I basically cracked the code on career acceleration. I shortly thereafter became the youngest yet highest paid general manager running a multinational business unit for a Fortune 1000 company on Forbes Most Admired list, taxed with doing a turnaround for that plant. So it ended up working well. And I became a CEO of an executive recruiting company and a lot of other things. So what I noticed is I still had the same fears and challenges that everybody else had. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if my current company finds out I'm looking for a job? And I don't like bragging about myself, and other people don't either. That's, becomes a challenge. But I learned that there's a better approach that you can use where you're not having to brag, because people that brag aren't near as good as they say they are. It's those that can prove it that are really good at what they do. So my method that I came up with proves it instead of telling people how good you are.
Nice, 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 nice. Can you give us a hint of what it
Would
sounds like?
love to. Oh, absolutely. I'll give you a few nuggets here. One, I'm sure a lot of people in the audience have had a job and somebody has been promoted where they thought they should have got the promotion. And they felt, well, was the best person for that job. Were they? No, because nobody deliberately hires a bad person. The issue is a disconnect between what the manager wanted in the position and what you thought was needed in the position. And this is the same thing that kills most people at the very start of an interview, because they have in their mind, this is what the manager should want.
Should,
But
right there.
but it's
This is
wrong,
what
right? But they're
should
wrong.
want.
Exactly, but it's wrong.
Well,
So what you need to do at the beginning of the interview is you need to ask the manager, either before it starts or at the tail end of your answering the first question, which is usually, tell me a little about yourself. And before you let them ask another question, ask, well, what are the current challenges in the position? What does success look like in the position? And what are the skills and abilities and accomplishments that you see as the most instrumental in being successful in the job? Now, by asking that type of question, now you have a bulleted, targeted list of exactly what success looks like. And you can make sure that all of your answers sell specifically to that. So I have a proprietary method called the PACE method, which is P for problem, assessment, correction, and evaluation. I have a book that's 1,001 best answers to interview questions, and you can't use a single one of them you can't. In a manager or executive interview, you'll get squashed with any of those answers. What you need to do is, if they ask, like, well, how would you do this, or how would you deal with this problem? You don't tell them how you would do that. What you do is you pull a story from your own accomplishments in the back of your history, and you say, well, we had a similar problem at XYZ company, and here's how we determined what the problem was. Here's how I assessed what was needed and put the teams together, and then here is how we corrected it. And these were the measurable results, either to the bottom line or percentage of improvement. And this is how that experience will apply in the new job, and how I can help solve these problems that you told me you're facing in the new job. Can you see how that's much more powerful and effective than just trying to tell them how good you are?
the power of the story.
Absolutely.
The power of the story. Very nice. I really love that. Very, very nice. So I'm curious. You've had a lot of pivots in your world from one thing to another. Which is the one pivot that created the biggest shifts in your life? I think you already told me one of them is when you wrote your own ticket, but
Sure.
something tells me there's another one there, that a big shift that really helped to propel you in a different direction.
Sure. When I decided to start my own business with no clients, on my own, doing consulting and coaching, and was able to grow that into a very successful company. And the reason that it's so important to me is because my passion is to help people that had the same type of doubts and the same challenges and, different challenges to try to help them be able to take the escalator to the C-suite instead of the stairs. And I know I've had my own mentors along the way. Nobody gets to the top by themselves. I've paid $40,000 this year on my own executive and business coaches and things like that. So I'm not a coach that just thinks that I should be the coach and I don't need one. The reality is everybody needs one. Absolutely.
That's exactly right. Everybody needs a coach. And when we invest in ourselves, we are basically allowing ourselves to up-level what we already know. And the key is to invest in someone that you really trust and know they can get you to where you want to go. I don't know about you.
Absolutely.
I've invested in a few coaches that it's like, oh my Lord, what was I thinking?
Absolutely, for sure. You want to invest in somebody that knows how to get people to where you want to go and has a track record of doing just that. Because you can ask the janitor down the street how to become a CEO and he'll be happy to tell you. Problem is you can't use any of the advice because he hasn't done it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, yeah. So the thing about having the coach is, yes, you might be able to get there eventually with your mentors and everything else, but why take 20 years if you can take 5? Because the main reason I invest in all the coaches isn't because I can't get there with mentors and other things. It's because I don't want to wait 20 years to get there, and I want to skip all the mistakes and all the problems and be able to scale any obstacles that get in my way, whether it be my own psychology, because the biggest thing holding most of us back is our own limiting beliefs and our own beliefs about the world and about things like that, or an external obstacle or a lack of skills that I need to close the gap. So, having that high-end mentorship really gives you the fast track to get to the top.
It really does. And I know, I've been in business for 40 years, and I know that there are certain areas in my business that I'm weak on. And am I good at those areas? I'm good. Am I excellent? Absolutely not.
Right,
And
right.
so I'm hiring, I have right now I've got 3 coaches. I have 3 coaches at the moment. 3 coaches coaching me right now. And
Yeah,
one of them is big in marketing and helping me realign everything that I'm doing. So it really is an important investment to be able to go with someone you trust. And I think that's a key is you trust that person. And I'll share why, because I would love your opinion on this. There was one person, I did an online 3-day program with them. I've been watching them for years. And it's like, wow, I'm ready now. I'm going to take it. And signed up for it. It was a disaster. I ended up doing everything on my own. I ended up building everything on my own. And then the worst part was that this individual would not allow me to talk with them unless I hit certain wickets in the program. And I'm caregiving 2 parents that are in their 90s in wheelchairs. And I needed to talk with her because of something that was going on, and she refused to do it until I did something specific. I'm like, are you kidding me? How much money am I paying you?
right. Yeah, in my high-end programs, if somebody needs me, they can text me, they can call me, they can send me an email. And if I'm tied up, as soon as I am free, then we will set up a one-on-one session, or I will send them a video coaching or whatever, even if I'm on the road in another country, doing it from a cruise ship or wherever else, to make sure that I'm there for them when they need me. Yes, we have the regularly scheduled stuff, but for my inner circle clients, the biggest value for them is that anytime they need me for any crisis, business decision, something where they want my advice, I'm available quickly, and I can give them that advice and they can decide on their own, whether to take the advice or not take the advice, but at least they're getting another perspective on it that is, from a place that really loves and cares about them and really wants their success. Because, our friends and family, a lot of them will say that they're there to support us, but they're not. If your coworkers and friends, if you go up the ladder way faster than them, they may say that they support it, but a lot of them are going to be resentful. Well, you must have, got lucky or something else, because your path is different than theirs. You need someone to champion your dream and to hold you accountable to making forward progress. And when you run into a mental, psychological roadblock or any other roadblock, somebody that can help you brainstorm between the two of you to figure out the best way to overcome that obstacle to get to your ultimate goal.
Our values are very, very similar because I'm the same way. You text, and I give my high-end clients, I give them that they know that they can reach me by text. Reach out to me, text me. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And they know that. They don't take advantage of it, but they know I'm there when they need me. And
Sure.
if there's anything that one program taught me that I was sharing, it's that it is so important to be there for your people because you don't know what's going on in their lives. And it may be something that they really need a different perspective on. It is so rich to be able to be there for them.
Yeah, and my initial program for my low end program is about the career, and then hitting the ground running so you can start the new position as a hero and
Yeah.
start developing on the career. But the career is only one part. As an executive coach, we set goals for your family. We set goals for your religious studies. We set goals for your social and your hobbies, and for ever building your own brand so you can, everyone knows you're the expert, that's the go-to person in your field. And all of these different things, because so many people are awesome at one thing and the whole rest of their life is a mess and out of whack. You need to have that balance. The career is usually a strong stabilizing force. So that's a good thing to start with because it gives you a foundation. But the reality is somebody who focuses all their effort on their career is not going to be happy in life because their family isn't going to be happy. They're not going to be able to do the things they want to do. And their mind's going to be at work when it should be on all of the rest of the things that we're working for. Because the reality is we want a happy, healthy work-life balance. And when we get out of balance, then it really causes a lot of problems in a lot of areas of our life.
It really does. And it is about looking at, because I'm also an executive coach, I'm a certified executive coach. And the one thing that I know is when you're working with these folks is it's got to be a very holistic view, just like what you're talking. It has to be holistic. And there's a time and a place where something is more important. Part of creating harmony in your business and in your life is recognizing to be fully present in the moment, is it not?
Oh, for sure.
Because when
And you're
you're
going to
fully
have
present,
spikes. Yeah, you're going to have
exactly,
spikes in different areas. That's okay.
exactly,
As long as you're intentional in every area of your life,
right.
then you can deal with the spikes and not sacrifice the other things. And the spike will come down and then something else will spike.
Of course it does.
Of course.
Of course
Yeah.
it does. Especially if you're a parent with young kids or teenagers,
Oh,
or you're a sandwich, person. You've got elders on one side and little ones on the other, and the
for
spouses
sure.
here, and on and on and on. It can be quite chaotic, but it is about being present in the moment and giving attention to what is right smack in front of you. I agree with you
Absolutely.
1,000%. I really, really do. So I'm curious, Randy, what is your favorite nugget to share with the audience?
Basically, that you can pretty much achieve anything that you want as long as you set the proper goals, you learn everything that you need to know to become that person that's worthy of that spot, and you work hard and diligently towards it and don't let yourself get sidetracked. You're going to have obstacles along the way, but there's a way over it, under it, or around it, or through it. And you got to figure out what it takes to get through or around each obstacle, or you can pivot your goal a little bit to make the adjustment, because our goals are always changing. But if you put your mind to it, there's so much of information available out there. You can almost do anything as long as you're learning from the right mentors, the right coaches, and working hard and keep your eyes on the prize.
Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Now, Randy, do you have a gift for the audience?
Sure. I have, I'll put a link that you can put down there for people that want to join my newsletter, my email list, and I'll give an ultimate interview checklist and a power of productivity, a little mini ebook to help them with productivity at work. And then if they want a free masterclass, they can go to fearlessachiever.com. Make sure you spell achiever correctly. And then you can register for my, yeah, it's a often misspelled word, but about once a month, I have a master class where I teach people to out interview everyone else and get the job of their dreams. And you can find out more about me at just Randy Phares, RandyPhares.com. And that's pretty much it.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And how can they find you? Can you repeat that again, please?
Okay, they can find me about me at randyphares.com, RandyPhares.com. And if they want to register for the masterclass, it's fearlessachiever.com.
There you go. Thank you so much. This was really great conversation, Randy. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your wonderful wisdom with the Shiftology Live audience. It really means an awful lot, listening to your shifts and how you got to where you got. And I really love that piece about creating your own ticket when it came to your contract. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So
no, it's been an absolute pleasure to be on your podcast, Terry. You give so much valuable knowledge and information with your guests, and your own knowledge and experience on helping with transformations that really make an impact in people's life. So it's really been an honor to be your guest.
Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. So, Shiftology Live audience, if this episode resonated with you, take a moment and reflect. I always end with this. What shift is intuitively calling out to you right now? You don't have to navigate it alone. And remember, hit the button. Subscribe to Shiftology Live on your favorite platform. And if you're ready to connect with your intuition, your purpose, and your inner power, join me in the Prosperity Power Network on Facebook. I'm Terry Wildemann. Thank you for listening. And until next time, keep honoring your intuitive heart to your success. Thank you, Randy, for being here.